Hey everybody, what's up? This is Jen, streaming to you live from downtown Minneapolis. We're outside the Hennepin County Public Safety Facility, which, as you can see, has a bunch of barriers in front of it. People are here right now, gathered outside for an emergency rally that's been called in response to an eviction that happened this morning just past 6 a.m. at Peavey Park, which is right on Franklin and Chicago Avenue in the Phillips area of Minneapolis. There had been a notice posted weeks before that the Parks Department wanted the park cleared of the encampment that was there. And as Park Superintendent Al Bangora noted today, there had been attempts to get people to move from the park, but they'd been unsuccessful. And that's because people didn't want to move from the park. So today, more than 10 tents were at Peavey Park right after 6 a.m. A mixture of law enforcement, including Minneapolis Parks Police, Minneapolis Police Department, and some from the Sheriff's Department came to rope off the area with yellow caution tape, as well as reportedly the Franklin Avenue sidewalk that's just north of the park. There's the blue line coming in, the light rail. They came to rope off the area while they were evicting people and clearing the tents, throwing away people's food, clothing, personal belongings, medicine into a large trash city vehicle that they had brought. It took less than 40 minutes for this mixture of law enforcement to arrest a few people as well as clear the encampment. At least one person who was a resident of the park was arrested, as well as at least 2 community members who had been acting as community defenders of the park. Reportedly, 5 people have been arrested. I don't know the identities or the description of the other 2. So this rally, as I said before, has been called as an emergency response to this, eviction that people knew was coming, but they didn't know when exactly. And a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and one day, I think, the Minneapolis Parks and Recreation Board heard comments from community members, from the public, about a number of topics, but I think most of the comments that came through were about the temporary encampments. So three weeks ago and a day is when these public comments were heard, and that's actually the same day that a different encampment in the Phillips area was also cleared. So at that time, community members had demanded that there be no more evictions, that there be a pause, a cessation to all these evictions of these unhoused encampments, these sanctuary encampments, as well as a permit to be granted to any park that was currently in existence that wanted a permit. But that demand from 3 weeks ago and one day has not been honored. For today, there was eviction of a park that happened. Hey. So we're waiting here for this. We're waiting here in front of the Hennepin County Public Safety Facility for this rally to start. There's City Hall right there with the green copper ceilings. Roof. Let me show you some of the signs that are here. We have stop housing the unhoused right here. Oh, I think we have some stuff starting maybe? Oh, maybe just the music cut out.
Get your burn on and get your move on. Because I know why you're out here. I told you.
We have this sign here that says, "Fuck Nazi cops." And right beside we have 2 people holding the sign that says, "Fuck the park police specifically." And also, yes, Leslie Knope too. That's a reference to the show Parks and Recreation.
Abandon your idols.
What did you say?
Abandon your idols. Leslie's a little bit of a bootlicker.
A lot of it.
I don't have anything to add.
Thank you. And here's again this sign. It's the park police who are coming in to do these evictions. As I said earlier, other law enforcement officers are there as well, but it's the park police who are there every time.
Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all, justice.
We have another sign up here that says, "The unhoused are our neighbors and your constituents." This sign says "Free protesters and volunteers," in reference to those who were arrested earlier today, who weren't living at the park but had been there in a supportive role. Oh, wait 1 second here. I'm going to check my messages really quick. Here's the light rail train coming. Little pamphlets that say "Know your rights" when dealing with the police. So it appears that there was an announcement made a little bit ago. I sort of missed what was being said, but everyone now has moved from the sidewalk area in front of the Hennepin County Public Safety Facility onto these light rail tracks. He's a dog.
Welcome to the rally. As of today at 6 a.m. or 5:50 a.m. close to, Peavey Park has been evicted. And by the time our protesters got there, by the time our volunteers got there, they put up a yellow tape, actually, a police tape, and kicked everyone out, as usually happens during evictions, and arrested volunteers and residents, those of which are 2 BIPOC black bodies, and we are demanding that they get released right now. Until they are free, we're not leaving. Until their legal support is followed through, we are not leaving. As of today, me and the rest of my colleagues and comrades have come together and made a list of demands. This is different than the Minneapolis Sanctuary Movement's demands. They have 3 demands which have not been met by the city. Until then, we will continue to push back at the fullest extent. Number 1, release all residents and community defenders without charges. Number 2, seize all evictions of camps, hotels, and residencies in Minneapolis and St. Paul. To clarify this one, this includes residents that are in their apartments or renting during this time, and they will not continue to be evicted. Number 3, drop all charges against Powderhorn arrestees. This is including July 20th and August 14th. Number 4, St. Paul PD, SPPD, Park Police, Sheriff Private Security, and State Patrol, University Security, and whatever else that we see as police, must immediately stop terrorizing and harassing the houseless community through sweeps and surveillance. Number 5, any and all spaces in the Twin Cities occupied by houseless people must be declared autonomous police-free zone. Number 6, all vacant city and privately owned properties must be immediately converted into housing and established as a self-governing community land trust. To clarify this one, that means we want to take over the empty buildings not being used at this time during COVID and turn them into shelters. Number 7, any law enforcement officers involved in evicting unhoused and housed communities must be fired immediately and held accountable by the same communities they have harmed. Full monetary and material compensation for personal possessions of the unhoused community members. To clarify this, this means that everything destroyed has to be replaced by the city. You cannot replace something you've had your whole life. Say a necklace that was given to your mother, by your mother, was destroyed at this time. You can't get that back. But the least you can do is get them clean clothes on their backs, get them food in their stomach, and a place to sleep. If that means a locked door and a bed, I'm more than happy with that. Number 8, the city can and will put funding in place for social services for the unhoused communities with free access and self-governance of funds with no stipulations or requirements. Don't make our life harder as volunteers. Number 9, no capitalist schemes by the city or police will interfere with the funding or self-governance of unhoused people by ways of false nonprofits or affordable housing initiatives more than 1/3 of any residents' incomes. Stop making the rent something they can't afford. We're tired of this. We're sick of this. You know how hard it is to get someone into a place? You know how hard it is to get someone into a treatment facility? Everything is booked in.
Guilty of evicting Powderhorn Park using force of pepper spray, assault, and arrest. He was also assigned personnel in Jamar Clark's police report. Officer Robert Mooney, guilty of evicting Peavey Park and laying hands on a young black man, a comrade of mine, who has been a long-time community defender. Andrew Klein, guilty arresting a black man at Peavey Park prior to this eviction, who is also a longtime community defender without cause or reason. James Huber, badge number 33031, guilty of evicting Powderhorn Park and arresting houseless residents, guilty of shooting Marcinier Johnson 3 times in the back in 2015. Kay Zabuski, badge number 119990, guilty of evicting Powderhorn and arresting residents. C.M. Nelson, badge number 133440, guilty of evicting Powderhorn and arresting residents. Jason Ohado is the chief of the park police. He is guilty of evicting Powderhorn and countless other camps, all other camps, with brutal force, including Peavey Park today.
Inhuman bastard.
We also want to add on to the most wanted list the park board.
Fuck yeah.
That means Chris Meyer is guilty of evicting all houseless encampments in Minneapolis, endangering resident lives with constant police harassments and brutal force during evictions, before, during, and after. Guilty of referring to horrific losses during evictions as cleaning up the parks. District 2, Cale Severson, guilty of all evicted houseless encampments, as they all are, with their votes. Guilty of putting lives at risk to police daily, during, and outside of evictions. District 3, A.K. Hassan, guilty of evicting people from all public parks. The same vein. Jana Kalgil, guilty of evicting all houseless camps and justifying the violent removal of houseless people, destroying their belongings to appeal to the white upper middle class. District 5, Stephanie Musich, guilty of reckless endangerment of houseless people and evicting all houseless encampments using police that are inherently racist and violent. District 6, Brad Bourne, guilty of reckless endangerment of houseless individuals by collaboration with the police. The Vice President, Latricia Vitale, guilty of countless arrests and violent evictions of all houseless encampments. And at large, we got Meg Thorney and, of course, Londell French, guilty of all evictions of public parks, guilty of being complicit in the violent acts of the police, and guilty of all resident arrests and volunteer arrests, and the reason we are standing here the fuck today.
Fuck the park board!
Good evening, Minnesota. The Minnesota that matters. The Minnesota that shows up. Every damn time. If you see me in the purple, you can find me at George Floyd Square. Almost every damn day. These wonderful young adults have shown up for our most vulnerable citizens at their most crucial time of need. For those citizens that have been abandoned by the people who theoretically have been elected to look after them. Instead, it's been left, that burden, to be shouldered by young adults. That's why I'm here. That's why I show up here at this courthouse multiple times since Mr. Floyd was murdered. To help them. So for everyone standing here today, I want you to understand I appreciate and love that you are here to share this space, but right now I'm going to talk to these cameras because the people who need to hear this message are not here. Y'all already get this. Y'all already understand this because you're here. Y'all fucking show up every damn time. So this message isn't for y'all. This is for anyone who's not here. There's a video you're going to see on social media later of what happened at Peavey Park this morning. If you can watch that video and it doesn't echo in your brain exact images of what happened to Mr. Floyd, of what happened to Philando Castile, of what happened to Jamar Clark, then I don't know how to help you. I do not know how to connect the two hemispheres in your brain. Find a doctor. These young adults are shouldering a burden they should not have to shoulder of a broken system that perpetuates itself. They should not be assaulted. They should not be brutalized for sticking up for people who have no help, who have no voice, who have their agency and their citizenship and their basic human dignity ripped from them. And to me, they're my family. They have stood shoulder to shoulder with me for 120 days almost at George Floyd Memorial Square. They have held the line, and they have done it admirably. And I don't normally play this card, but I am an Iraq and Afghanistan veteran, and I have found more honor and dignity in the work that they have done than I have ever found. They are sticking up for exactly the ideals this country was supposedly founded on. But every time I come here, it is a fight to get them out. It's a fight just to get them their liberty. For doing exactly what we think we're supposed to be doing. Taking care of people who are houseless. My laptop is out every damn day at George Floyd Square trying to find transitional housing, food pantries, medical care for people who don't have access to those resources. And I'm going to tell you what, this is speaking to generations who had access to these resources before. I want you to understand this. There are more barriers, there are fewer resources, there is more need. This is not the same game. No. This is not the America you grew up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, so stop telling me the bootstrap story. It's not there anymore. You want to know what it takes to get into transitional housing in some of these programs? 60 days of sobriety, 60 days of mental health counseling. Bitch, if they had those, they wouldn't be houseless. And these young adults understand that as a fundamental truth. Why am I explaining that to grown-ass adults? And why am I trying to come up with bail money for kids who understand that? Yep. Why am I watching videos of them with 4 officers on a young black man on a park bench, one with his elbow on his neck as he screams in pain? Yes! Fuck 12! Fuck 12! Fuck 12! Fuck 12! Fuck you! And there is a rule at George Floyd Square. If you're going to say something, say it with your whole chest. So here it is. Fuck Minneapolis police.
At this time, I think we should do a little chant just to get y'all a little fueled up. Also, I want to say, if someone has an experience of being homeless and being kicked out of wherever you are, step up and share your story. Because this is about you and it's not about us. It's not about the next person that'll step up and speak for you. We want you to express it yourself.
Thanks for tuning in to our stream from downtown Minneapolis.
Fuck Jason Ojedo. 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 He's a bitch. Bitch-made ass person. Chief of police, not even police. You're park police. You're a rent-a-cop. Do better. You're like another transit cop. Do better with what you want to do in your life. There's different things you can do. For example, many of our comrades have been at Little Earth. Many of our comrades have been at Cedar Riverside. During the uprising and out of the uprising, we have continued to be near Lake Street, in George Floyd Square, doing security day in and day out. Not everyone can do that. But due to COVID, some of us don't have jobs. And some of us actually give a fuck. So listen up. This ain't about us. This is not about what we're worried about or the petty little things in your life. It's about being right here and standing up for those that can't be here. I also want to mention that there was a government law that's still in processing to look for the missing and murdered Indigenous women. There's over 500, and I'm saying this so lightly, it's more than 500, it's close to thousands. that are missing and murdered because the police don't care about Indigenous women.
Listen!
They don't care about the Native bodies that were here. They don't care about what's going on either. And because of that, they're another forgotten people. The houseless are forgotten people. The houseless are the unheard people. Now tell me, think about it. How many times do you drive by the highway, get off on the exit, someone asks you for $1, and you're thinking to yourself, dang, do I really want to give up $1? Do I really want to give up that $1? But that $1 is probably going to get them water so they stay hydrated and they don't pass out under the overpass. They don't pass out at the Greenway. They don't pass out at anywhere else. But honest to God, I'm hurt by Minneapolis. I'm hurt by our system and the way it's fucked up. But I'm proud of our community members for stepping up. I'm proud of everybody that's out here and that actually gives a fuck. So thank you. Thank you for being out here. Thank you for actually caring about our brothers and sisters. So just give yourself a round of applause. I feel like we need a little break from the talking, so if we could play some music, that would be great. Hell yeah. Throw a party till they get out. Can I get a fuck 12? Fuck 12? Fuck 12? It's our duty to fight for our freedom. It's our duty to win. It's our duty to... We must love. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our time. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our time. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our time. Amen. Ashe.
Thanks for tuning in. We are live from the Hennepin County Public Service Facility, where there's several hundred people, a few hundred people gathered here. I'm gonna step up a little bit. Someone wants to speak on the mic. I'm just gonna give a really quick recap, then I'll zoom back in here. So there's people occupying this track right here in Minneapolis. This is the light rail track, where you have a train that goes from downtown Minneapolis all the way to South Minneapolis, as well as to St. Paul. Folks are in this space for this emergency rally across the street here. Music's starting to play. Folks are here for this emergency rally. Wow, look at all these bikes. Because there was an eviction early this morning at Peavey Park, one of many spots of sanctuary encampments here in Minneapolis. Actually gonna cross the street because this music is nice and loud, but I also can't really hear myself. So here's a different view. There's people on the tracks. So that eviction that happened early this morning is just past 6 a.m. That's about an hour before sunrise here as the equinox happened just a couple days ago, so sunrise getting later and later. Folks at the park were aware that the encampment was going to be cleared. In fact, 3 weeks ago in a day, the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board reportedly voted specifically to clear Peavey Park. A number of people had come to speak both in favor of the ongoing sanctuary encampment at Peavey on behalf of the residents who were there who didn't want to leave. And also residents of Minneapolis came to speak against the park. They felt that there was some threat to public safety by the continued presence of the park. Notably, the Parks Board and critics of the ongoing encampments have used children's safety in particular as a reason for these camps needing to get cleared. But children have been playing at or near the encampment despite the encampments happening. So it's not true that necessarily that kids aren't able to be safe around these encampments. And also some people have children. So some unhoused people have children. It might be suggested that these kids are not safe from that neighboring kids aren't safe from unhoused kids, which is not true either necessarily. So anyway, 3 weeks ago in a day, there were these people that's from Minneapolis that spoke in this public session of the Parks Board about the encampments, and the Park Board reportedly voted about Peavey to evict it within a specified amount of time. Actually, by mid-October, they said that they wanted to have the apartments,